Hello whiskey lovers and welcome to another one of Mark's Whiskey Ramblings. It's an exciting day because I've got a brand new single malt to present to you, and it's this one, the I'll be honest, when someone at first called me and said, "Hey Mark, have you tried this new distillery? And by the way, can you tell me how it's pronounced?" I have to be honest, that was a bit of a loss. I did not know how to pronounce the name of this new whiskey. And at first, I did some research, obviously, and at first it was written like this, right? Nc'nean. And in the course of 3 years before the spirit was mature enough to be bottled as a single malt, it was written like this, right? I still was a bit of a loss at how to pronounce the name, but I looked up a tidbit of knowledge. This is actually named after Nc'nean, which is the Celtic goddess of nature and spirits, something like that, which is also something that the distillery holds in high regards because they produce their single malt from organically grown barley, and even the packaging is all made from renewables. Not only the cardboard box, which is 95% renewables, and the only 5% of paper that is new is the one that they use to print on, so the outer layer, and then the bottle as well is actually produced from recycled materials as well. Will you look at that? I am quite fond of the look of this bottle, but I still have not told you how it is pronounced, have I? No, I have not. Now, the easiest way to pronounce the name of this new whiskey is if you have a girlfriend or a mother or a wife or an aunt or a cousin or whatever whose name is Leanne. Because no matter how good your relationship with that woman, once in a while you will have an argument, you will have a row, you will have a fight. And then you will go like this: "Look, Leanne." See what I did there? Look, Leanne. Now just replace the L of look and the L of Leanne with an N. And then you will go like Nc'nean. Nc'nean, Eureka! You've just pronounced the name of this distillery correctly. It's called Nc'nean. That's how you pronounce the name of this brand new distillery, which is run by Annabelle Thomas, who actually had the setup. She had a bit of help from Dr. Jim Swan. Dr. Jim Swan was he was, because he's passed away. He's a person who set up quite a few new and fledgling distilleries. Cavaran comes to mind, for example, but there's other ones. So and he has a typical setup to create a very fruity and light and accessible spirit. And he helped out Nc'nean as well in their setup. Sadly, he passed away 2 weeks before the first spirit actually came off the stills at Nc'nean Distillery. So, Jim, if you're watching, Dr. Swan, I can call him Jim. I met him once. He was a very soft-spoken, a bit of an introvert person, in fact, but very knowledgeable and very gentle, and it was an honor to have known him. Anyway, the spirit has now matured for 3 years. The first spirit came off the stills in 2017, and in 2020, they launched their first whiskey. Now, at first, they did not launch this one. This is the Nc'nean Organic Single Malt Batch 1, which is actually cut to a drinking strength of 46% ABV. But in fact, they had another release first. This is released in September, I believe, of this year, and it's 5,040 bottles strong. But before that, they released their inaugural release named Ainnir, and that was only 1,320 bottles, if memory serves. But those were sold, the first 100 were sold for charity. It broke all records. Bottle number 1 sold for charity, it's true, but bottle number 1 sold for no less than £41,000. 41,000 pounds for a 3-year-old whiskey? Hey, it's for charity. And I'll be honest, when I first thought about this first batch, it's 3 years old, it's very young, it's new, it looks great though, and I'm a sucker for beautiful packaging, I'll be honest. But I know what's inside the bottle is important. Obviously, the liquid is important. But if the liquid is good and the packaging is good, it's a win-win situation. That, my friends, is what I believe is the case here. As you can see, I've tried it before, obviously, preparing for this rambling. This is a vatting of 14 casks. 65% of those are STR casks, which means shaved, toasted, and rejuvenated, right? And then the other 35% is former bourbon casks. And then they created a batch number 1, 5,040 bottles at drinking strength of 46% ABV. And when I first tried it, I thought, it's going to be pleasantly enough, but a very young, somewhat immature, somewhat a new kid on the block. It's okay, and it looks great, and whatever. When I first tried it, I was blown away. I kid you not, I was blown away. I mean, I've had whiskies from new distilleries a couple of times, and usually they're like, okay, so we get the distillery character, and they still got a long way to go, and whatever, whatnot. This one, in my opinion, wow, I was blown away. Without further ado, let's just get to the tasting part of this Nc'nean organic single malt batch 1 at 46%, and you will know what I am talking about. Right, beautiful golden color, full golden color. Comes down the glass rather quickly though, so light bodied I'd say. And that's probably because of the cutting, because the original release, the Ainnir, was actually at the cask strength, but this one is cut to 46 on the nose. Yes, it is young, but it's playful, it's not immature. I get sweet malt, lots of caramel and nougat, flowery honey, wild flowers, and even a hint of pomelo in there. It's fresh and fruity, and it reminds me a bit of a lowland Scotch, in fact, so that might be one of the reasons why I like it so much. But this is aperitif style, no off notes whatsoever, no new makey notes or something like that. Young, playful, but not immature. Just lovely, lovely on the palate. It's on the palate that it shows its true potential, according. I mean, it's already quite creamy. The playfulness is there. It's still very young and playful, but there's a peppery bite already. I get some white pepper, some sweet malt, but now we also get some citrus fruits, hazelnuts, pomelo and lime. There is this lovely minty freshness as well. It's very summery. It's a pity that's such a bad day today. This in the sun would be, it brings a smile to my face. I can't help it. It's very good. It's on the finish. Finish is not very long. True. Medium at best. But it's pleasantly warm, and it's fruity on more citrus again. True, it's not very complex. It's not complex at all. How could it be? It's only been in casks for 3 years. But this batch 1 is actually very good for a 3 years old malt. And I have to confess, with the packaging, the philosophy of the distillery, what they've just put out there, wow, it's a completely good story. It's a lovely, lovely philosophy that the distillery has. I have just put visiting the Nc'nean distillery on my bucket list because of this first batch. There you have it. Now this first batch is already sold out everywhere, because after the huge story about the Ainnir, the inaugural release, breaking all records with their £41,000 bottle number 1 for charity, everybody was like, "Ooh, gotta get me one of these Nc'neans." And so it's sold out everywhere, and you can tell that the people at Nc'nean themselves realized this, because whenever they see a picture on internet with a bottle that is open, they're like, "Hey, thank you for sharing your photo, and we're so happy to see that you're opening it up and enjoying it." So they too realize that a lot of people have bought this bottle as an investment or something like that, or to preserve liquid history or whatever. No, don't. There's 5,000 of these to go around. Open it up if you've got a bottle, drink it, enjoy it, share it with friends. It's worth it. And already batch number 2 is underway, so nothing to worry about. And yes, I did order me another couple of bottles from the batch number 2. And also, before we go, the packaging, like I said, it's recycled material, and Annabelle and her team have actually decided that they are going to offer people sort of a discount, £2 off if you order your next batch without the cardboard tube. Because they say for the regular batches, batch 1, 2, 3, whatever, how many batches that we may do, for the regular batches at 46% ABV, we will not change the packaging. And who needs packaging anyway? If this is not a bottle that you are going to give away to family or friends, but enjoy yourself, order it without the tube. That's a green idea. It's good for the planet, and it's good for you because you get £2 off. I don't have any stock in Nc'nean distillery, but I'm really excited. I'm really enthusiastic, as you can see. And it's got everything to do with the fact that this is just a fantastic entry-level aperitif style single malt. Very well done. I'm actually quite enthusiastic indeed. And that, my friends, is all for this Whisky Rambling. And I hope to see you at one of Mark's Whisky Ramblings real soon. And until then, may the malt be with you.